Look at my cheap Christmas tree. Hello, everybody. Dollar General, 20 bucks. Well, I'm here because I told you I would come back and read a hearing to you on child support contempt. So, hello, Blondie, hello. I'm going to try to pay attention to who's watching, but it's kind of hard because I can't see all that good. I got this bright light in my face. Okay, so this is what it is and where it took place. Whoops. This is interesting. It's short, I promise. I won't even stay on too long because I'm really tired. Hello, is it Butra? Hello, hello. Okay, so this is a DeNovo hearing. You see that, DeNovo? DeNovo in Latin means a new beginning. But really, it's a new beginning of hell. That's what it is. Okay, so this proceedings in the above captioned manner held on Wednesday, November 29th, 2017, commencing at 10:08 a.m. before the Dishonorable Elizabeth K. Kelly, Courtroom H, which stands for hell. Just so you know. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. A lot of mothers and fathers suffered and were tortured in her courtroom. But don't worry. She's not a judge anymore. Wonder how that happened. Anyway, okay, so here it is. Proceedings. The court, which is the judge. Good morning. Before the court this morning is the matter of him versus me. This matter comes before the court based upon the defendant's petition to decrease or suspend the support obligation. Present in court are the ex and Maryann Petri. Miss Petri, this is your petition. You can go ahead. And then Mr. So-and-so, I will hear from you. Thank you. She says thank you. So I go, thank you, Your Honor. I would like to say, I know we are here for a motion to reduce. What I would like to add, which I'm not sure if you're aware of, tell me if you are, but in Superior Court, there was a pension fund that was vacated. And in fact, Judge Sambrook said I could have the trust in the amount of $2,289.20. Now, I also note that due to Pennsylvania law, I don't know what the percentage is, if it's 0.9 or 0.6%, I'm not sure, but he said I could have it, and I'd like to put that towards the arrears to help my children. Also, that was Exhibit A. Exhibit B, Attorney Taylor writes a petition to apply constructive trust towards against the child support arrears, which in my opinion, Your Honor, that's your decision to make. Am I correct? Because I'm trying to understand what you are thinking. Okay, so then the judge interrupts. Thank you. This is your opportunity to present your case, so just go ahead and present it. I don't answer questions from the bench. Thank you. Go ahead. Anything else? So I said, yes. I have looked up some information where it said the trial court had discretion to determine the most appropriate method for imputing lump sum awards as income for purposes of establishing or modifying the party's support obligation. And so that would be an award, as I was awarded. Never received a receipt, never received anything as to say where this money went that I won. Okay, so I thought that could be placed toward the arrears. Bear in mind, none of this should have been happening to begin with. Now, back in October 24th, 2017 is when I put in for the motion to reduce arrears, where the late Honorable Judge Sambrook, now I said he was late. He wasn't late, he was deceased. Moment of silence. I'll have to show you my Christmas ornaments. Anyway, so the Honorable Judge Sambrook wrote that I could have this money. And then Exhibit B, Attorney Taylor, as I said, wrote a petition to apply constructive trust award against the child support. Now, I just wanted to make you aware that I had a letter, and this has been time-stamped as well, October 10th. It's an updated letter from my workplace. Now, this is different from the ones I've told you, but this is from the head of HR. And he said, notify Human Resources if you are arrested or convicted of an offense that would constitute grounds for denying participation in a program activity service. If you are named as a perpetrator in a founded or indicated CPS report, you must provide Human Resources notice no later than 72 hours. Failing to do so will result in discipline up to and including termination or denial of employment. And that was written on January 1st, 2015. I reported to him on January 20th because my head nurse, and we didn't know what to do with that. So either way, I could not work anywhere. I tried Kmart, I've tried Giant Eagle. My friend Tina said, oh, well, we'll get you into the fabric store. You're not going to work with kids, because I was indicated for emotional child abuse. That's the silver bullet. Everybody knows what the silver bullet is, right? It's always a false accusation. Well, they turned me down. They said, no, she has to have all of her clearances because that's the only way you can work. Hey, who's all here? Gary Keith, hello. Jim Brown, hello. Idiot 4R, hi. Bradley Cotton, hello. Darlene Herman, hello. Okay, here I go. As far as how all this began was, now get this, the judge says, don't go back that far. Well, you have to go back that far. She has to know why and how and when this all happened. So she's either not looking at exhibits or your evidence, and she obviously doesn't want to hear it. So she says, I can't go back that far to explain how these indications happened and how I came to be terminated from my nursing career of 23 years. Okay, so I said, okay, I won't. Gotcha. So the judge says, from the last hearing forward, anything else? And I said, okay, I know there's a separation of church and state, but I truly am the female version of Job. Now, the court reporter spelled it J-O-B-E. It's actually J-O-B. I have seriously lost everything. My children, my job, my license as a nurse. I could not work until the child abuse clearances were able to, and then she interrupts. The judge says, Miss Petri, I'm going to stop you right here. I need you to explain to me anything that has changed since the last hearing. You are now repeating yourself. Do you have any new additional information for the court to consider? If not, we're going to move on, and I'm going to hear from him. I said, well, other than the pension fund, that is something that should have been dealt with. She goes, all right. That's about one thing I can tell you, I told her. She goes, all right, I understand that. All right. Thank you, Mrs. And she actually called me by my ex's married name. Then she corrects herself, Miss Petri. So then the judge says, ex-husband, I'm interested in your point. Go ahead. I have prepared a short statement, he says. She says, that's fine. Now, bear in mind his lawyer wrote this because he can't think for himself. He doesn't have that, what is that, cognitive rationality, whatever. To date, Maryann has refused to pay support other than a meager amount via a wage attachment. She's pursued every conceivable angle in her attempt to get out of fulfilling her obligation. Now, in parentheses, bear in mind, he cost me my job as a registered nurse, my career of 23 years. At no point has she adjusted her own style of living, drives an expensive car, a Jeep. That was 3 years old. Okay. Phone and lives in an expensive house. All who have challenged her, including herself, Your Honor, have been met with vicious attack. Instead of taking on board the criticisms of the professionals involved in our case, she went the other way and filed complaints against them, and the complaints were many. We are aware that she has filed complaints, formal complaints against Taylor's wife, the CPS worker, and the co-parent counselor, and the late Judge Sambrook, and yourself, Your Honor, and my wife who works in the courthouse. Maryann has a history of refusing to acknowledge the court's authority and comply with the direction laid out in the applicable support and custody orders. We have declined to pursue these as we have not wanted it to escalate. Oh, he escalated it all right. Maryann states that CPS claims against her were false. In findings of fact section of current custody order, Judge Sambrook noted that he found Maryann took part in emotionally abusive behavior. He went on to cite his concerns with her mental health 4 additional times. There was no mention of CPS. The CPS complaints, which led to 2 indicated findings, but were filed by a mental health professional with over 20 years experience that was legally bound to do so. That's a lie. This professional reached a point where they could no longer tolerate the behavior as they found it to be harmful to the children. All of that is perjury. OMG. He continues. Strap on your attends, people. The issues with the children have been many. Instead of putting their interests first, she's focused upon herself. Her self-described rights come before everyone else's. Instead of cooperating, she recently filed complaints with the Pennsylvania State Licensing Board on 2 of the healthcare professionals involved in our case. I won't mention their names. It's not even worthy. He says that these counselors have required to support the best interest of the children, making themselves available at all hours of the day and night, including weekends. They both had to go to considerable efforts to defend themselves, but fortunately, both doctors have now been cleared. Maryann frequently takes to social media to tell the world how she's been wronged, how corrupt the court system is, and further how she will never comply. It is within these posts that one gains significant insights into Maryann's real point of view. He didn't know I was going to start a podcast. Slam the gavel. Okay, let me go back to his rant. Much of her online focus has been to brag about her ability to cause me financial distress by filing appeals to the Superior Court. This is by definition vexatious litigation. Hang on to that. Vexation litigation, we'll talk about that. As though this was not enough, we recently received a very misguided letter listing most of the people who have dared to voice an opinion contrary to her own. Including in this list were 3 of her own attorneys. She ends the letter with a clear threat against the individuals listed. Several persons on the list have voiced their unease with the threats, given Maryann's history of erratic behavior. Sorry. Turning to the matter at hand, after such a significant struggle over so many years to get out of fulfilling her financial responsibility, is it convenient that she has now had her nursing license revoked? At the contempt hearing on November 2nd, she badmouthed her own counselor for filing the complaint with the nursing board. But isn't it interesting that her counselor's name was absent on the letter? I believe that this is because I think the counselor did her a favor. Oh my God. I was going to make $29 an hour, really? Seriously, he cost me all of that. Maryann voluntarily signed a document that refers to her mental instability and the use of psychotropic medication. This mind-altering medication apparently makes it unsafe for her to treat patients. However, she sees no issue with transporting the children. Because I was every other weekend. Okay, unsupervised. Historically, we have attempted to limit our court actions by defending myself and my children against her numerous frivolous and vexatious actions. Without a license, Maryann obviously cannot work as a registered nurse. She should, however, be forced to contribute her support obligation in whatever way the courts deem appropriate, and she should pay what she owes in the arrears, which was like $15,000. It is time for Maryann to realize that her stated misfortunes are a direct result of her own actions and not the result of the actions of the multitude of people she likes to blame. Thank you. So, I mean, he couldn't come up with this. His lawyer with a pea brain himself wrote this for him. So the judge says, thank you very much. I will take this matter under advisement. I will issue an order in the near future. Thank you, everyone. You're all free to leave. Really, I'm glad I bought the transcript. Always buy your transcripts. Who's all here? Larry Joe, I'm sorry, hello. Terry Sellis, hello. Lash Isabel has joined, hello. Some user has joined, hello. Okay, so vexatious litigant. Sometimes you have to litigate to save your life. I was up against a child support order totaling close to $1,000 and arrears that had mounted because of my false accusations of emotional child abuse, which I was exonerated of. Now, bear in mind, just because you're exonerated by a CPS judge doesn't mean your family court judge will accept that. The family court judge continued the false narrative that I was emotionally abusive. So as soon as I was exonerated from the first and then second, he should have put us back to 50-50 where we had been for the last practically 10 years. So that's basically my story. But I found another transcript down there in the basement that I'll read probably next week when I don't know, have more energy. So, Maryann, people are afraid to fight in court. I know, I didn't like it either. I didn't like going in there because there were cockroaches in there. But I had to fight because if I didn't, I would be in and out of prison every 3 months. So it was interesting because we were approached by a professional, my counselor and I, to ask me to stop litigating. And my counselor had to explain to him that if I don't, my life is in jeopardy. If I don't, I will be in prison all the time. So sometimes I know it's who wants to do it. I'm in court for 8 years. I'm sorry. It's crazy. Jail is weaponized against us in the family. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yeah, the judge loved threatening me with that. She loved it. Oh, my God. I'll have to tell you another story when I have more energy of how I sat in the witness box. Not the witness box, the jury box with a bunch of guys. Do you want me to tell it now? I'll be quick. Okay, so this was, and this will go into the next transcript I will tell you about, but I was sitting in a jury box with all guys. The guy sitting next to me said, I don't know why I'm here. My child support's paid up. I'm going, man, I don't know. I just don't know. Then there in the front row were two gentlemen that were shackled at the wrists and at the waist and at the ankles because, everybody's so dangerous. And they were in beige, not jumpsuits, scrubs. And of course, I'm sitting in the back row. So when Judge Kelly comes down, I'm going, I hope I can get out of here soon. She calls me first. And it's like, oh God, we're packed in there like lemmings. So I'm trying to get down out of that jury box. I'm touching each man's shoulder. I'm going, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. No kidding. Even the guys that were shackled, because a lot of people shouldn't be put on in jail at taxpayers' expense for non-support. Taxpayers have got to wake up. Debtor's prison was abolished in 1833. So this is where I'm gonna love and leave ya. I'm tired, I did a great podcast with Nate Monroe and Debbie Carroll today, and they pointed out a lot of very interesting things. I'm very grateful for their input, and everyone's very angered that I have this podcast, Slam the Gavel. It's been in operation since 2020. But I'm going to talk about family court, criminal court, civil court, probate court, trauma and healing. So I like a well-rounded podcast. Then nobody was happy when this book came out. It's a tell-all. Oops. Then I have another book called Cry Out for Justice, Poems of Truth. I ordered myself a couple copies just so I can read you some poems. Then I wrote Raised by These Wolves, How Family and Federal Courts Are Failing Our Children. Wolves. These aren't the wolves in Twilight. These aren't helpful wolves. Okay. This is the Volume 2, Raised by These Wolves, Child Trafficking Within the Foster Care and Court Systems. Because we all know foster care is a pipeline to jail. Foster care is a big help, isn't it? Okay. Okay, I will read you one poem, if I can find one that I haven't read you. Okay, all right. I'm trying to go fast because I don't want to keep you hanging. Okay, here is the non-custodial parent's fear on page 97. What do we do about this ill content? From family court, our bodies are spent. Paying out fees and hands have been tied. You look at your living child treated as if died. Family court is a battleground aided by CPS. You are now a target parent and under duress. Your children have been taken away and have no clue, looking for your car at school and waiting for you. How sad it is for them to finally find out that you are no longer anywhere about. They wonder when they will see you next, only to find themselves in a toxic vortex. Non-custodial parent, please do beware. In due time, your child will not care and grow to despise you and has taken the bait. For the child you used to know has learned to hate. Life for you will be grueling and grim, contacting your child as you go out on a limb. Breaking a court order just to make contact, to make sure your child's life is intact. Yes, I did that too. In time, slowly, they turn against you. Sit, wait, and watch. There's nothing you can do. Your child's being groomed to live in fear. But there's a court order you all must adhere. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. These courts, these family courts, it's the last thing I say. Hello, Pam. And Bushra's still here. The courts are inducing parental alienation. I know no one likes that word, but sorry. It does exist. I'm alienated from 3 of my kids. All because they gave a personality disorder control. Because my case was rigged. But this is what happens. And thank you, Jim Sisko. Keep doing what you're doing. We need your advocacy. But you probably don't want this Christmas tree either, do you? Because it's like really lame. So, I'm going to let you all go, and I hope you all have a good night. If you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me on dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com. And I'm always here to answer questions and, I don't know, help in any way I can, since I can't be a nurse anymore because they stole that from me. And, well, if you have a story to tell, contact me, dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com. And, oh yes, Jim, thanks for telling your story in the books. Jim Sisko is in here. Okay, where are you, Jim? Oh my goodness, my brain is fried. Oh, here he is. I have him right here. That's Jim Sisko. Isn't he hot? Yeah, his story's in my book. Yeah. Yeah, he's dealing with a personality too. We all are. And it's really bad. It's hard on the kids. And it's perpetuating the generational cycle of abuse. And, yeah, of corruption in the courts. Hello, is it... Galen, I'm sorry, my vision is bad and I've got this ring in my face. But I totally thank you all for coming and listening to this transcript, because the corruption has got to be exposed. It's disgusting. Shame on all these judges that take kids away from the fit parent and induce parental alienation, and also teach the kids to hate the good fit parent. Okay. Can you point your website so I can contact you? Okay, hang on. Can you see this? Okay. DismantlingFamilyCourtCorruption.com. Oh no, can you see that okay? Contact me. I'll be around, okay? So God bless you all, and I'm going to see how I get off this live. Hi, Candace Crystal. I'm jumping off right now. I'm sorry. Okay, let me see how I do this.